Hello, people of Gotham. It's me, Greg Miller. The internet is freaking out right now, so I figured I'm sick of reading your tweets about it. I'm sick of seeing everyone freaking out without talking about it. So I'm going to talk in a support group about the fact that Ben Affleck has been announced as Batman in Batman vs. Superman, whatever they call this Man of Steel follow-up. This is just a simple chat. I'm basically taking the Twitter feed that I already have, the comments here on YouTube, and putting them into this here video. Just instead of having to sit here and read everybody's comments, not have a dialogue, have to answer everybody one by one, I figured we should all come together, let the healing begin, if you will. You know, even not the healing, and that's what I'm saying. I'm very upset. It caught me off guard, obviously, that all of a sudden this was going to happen. That people were, oh man, here's Ben Affleck, and everybody's going to freak out about it. And like, first off, let's not forget, Ben Affleck was in Mallrats. Mallrats is one of the greatest movies you've ever seen in your whole goddamn life. Let's not forget that. He's great in that. He's great in that. He's great in this Argo, The Town. Everybody likes him in these movies, but all of a sudden, no, let's all freak out. Let's have a big problem about it, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Affleck's going to be Batman. Let's hold your horses, is what I'm saying, all right? Ben Affleck's been good to us for a long, long time. I like that about him. He's been a good guy. He's been in these Kevin Smith movies. We should give him the benefit of the doubt, shouldn't we, before we flip out? And this is the whole thing. Internet doesn't do this. They've been good about it on the Twitter there, of course. Of course, tweet me at GameOverGreggy so we can discuss this together as one people. People, you know, it's been quick on the Twitter to point out, right, that, of course, people freaked out about Heath Ledger being the Joker. I was like, I thought it was a weird choice, right? And then, but more importantly to me, is the fact that I remember distinctly, and some people are calling bullshit on the Twitter about this, that I remember distinctly my parents and my next door neighbor flipping out when they named Michael Keaton Batman. Now, granted, I was a little kid at the time. I didn't truly understand why people would freak out about this, right? Like, Michael Keaton, sure, Mr. Mom is what everybody kept calling him. I knew him as Beetlejuice. I was a big Beetlejuice fan. I thought, okay, Beetlejuice is going to be Batman. It wasn't as weird to me, but he was a comedic actor up until that point, right? So now we got Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's been announced as Batman. None of you have seen a screen test. None of you have seen anything. You're all set to just massacre this poor young man that we know as a guy who likes to, you know, in uncomfortable places. I'm not sold on it yet. I can't figure out what framing I like. This is all very fly by night. This is all very. I'm reading your comments here on YouTube, of course. I want you to be part of this. Preach it. See, there you go. The people right there. KM16, he knows what's up. This is the whole point here, is that we're here to talk this out. I want you to comment on the YouTube video here. Obviously, I can see your comments live. Then make sure you're tweeting me at GameOverGreggy. We're having an open discussion here. It's just a bunch of nerds dealing with this thing that apparently is a big deal to everybody. I'm not really freaked out about it. I'm not mad about it. I like Batman right now. Of course, Batman the best. New 52 ongoing monthly that's going on. Best thing best thing DC Comics is doing. Of course, the digital stuff. Smallville, Injustice. We all know this. I preach this all the time on Twitter, on Beyond. But in terms of New 52, Batman, Scott Snyder, fantastic. Let's see a little bit more. All right, let's see what we got people here. The movie Rewind says I still want to see Ben Affleck direct a Batman film. Okay, that doesn't matter. Now, here we go. And Captain Nerd says John Hamm would have been a superior choice. Here's what I was saying from moment one when this got announced. When I did a video for IGN at Comic-Con about this, right? You've heard my thoughts on this movie. I've beaten the drum over at IGN about it. Is that I wanted an unnamed in this, right? Like, I wanted somebody I didn't already associate with being, the guy who likes to screw fucking uncomfortable places in the back of a Volkswagen. Like they did there in that Mallrats. You know, and that's the thing. Ben Affleck comes with so much baggage. I for the most part, I think I like most of his baggage, right? Like, I like Mallrats. I liked all these other things. People are really quick to throw out this Daredevil thing. Remember, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you have a director on a movie. It's not like these actors walk on set and they're just like, oh, I'll do whatever I want. There's a writer, there's a director. People are telling them how to act. I guess that's what's not pissing me off. I'm not really mad about this at all today. Is the internet's quick to judge and throw Daredevil and Geely and all these things in Ben Affleck's face. Ben Affleck, yeah, sure, he's made bad movies. I've made bad videos. Like, we've all made bad things, right? We didn't set out to try to do that. And it's not a one-man production, like I'm saying. He had people telling him what to do, telling him what they needed from him. And when they did all of this, right, okay, sure, those projects weren't great, but, like, come on now. We're really gonna give Ben Affleck the business over that. We're gonna forget about The Town. We're gonna forget about Argo. We're gonna forget about Mallrats. We're gonna forget about Phantoms. He was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. So, like I said, when they announced this Batman Superman movie, the first thing I said is that I wanted an unknown, somebody I didn't know well, I should say, right? Like Henry Cavill, or Henry Cavill, not a full-on unknown. He's been in other movies, but I didn't know him well. I didn't already associate him with characters. Now, the interesting thing for me, of course, in all this is that for Ben Affleck specifically, I thought he made a great George Reeves when he did the Superman movie, Hollywoodland, right? All about George Reeves' Adventures of Superman, the character there, then going on to, die, get murdered, and nobody knows what's happening, have all these crazy stories about it. For me, that was a great role for him. And again, he was awesome in it. Like, you're gonna watch that movie and tell me he wasn't great in it, and now you're gonna tell me he can't be Batman based on nothing? First off, he's got a good jaw. That's what we define Batman, especially when you look at like Batman in like Arkham Origins, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, right? That Batman is a bulky, big Batman. He's got a good jawline. That's what Ben Affleck's got. We're gonna see that here. We already know he's a good actor. We'll soon hear his Batman voice, and he's gonna be this older Batman. That's the big point about this movie, right? They keep making references that it's gonna be like Dark Knight Returns, and that he's gonna come back and kind of give Superman the business, tell him what this, that, and the other. I think my whole point of this video. Try to get us all together so we can talk this out, so I can hear your concerns, so we can talk about the fact. And let's also send off the fact, I'm not saying Ben Affleck's going to be good. I'm just not saying he's bad. I haven't seen anything I trust, I believe. I mean, I think, first off, Henry Cavill is an awesome Superman, right? All my problems in the movies, that's fine. But as far as being Superman, he was a great Superman. Like, you tell me Ben Affleck can't be a great Superman? I'm not going to buy it. So let's see what we got here. I.Extreme says Ben is an excellent actor who has taken part in some good and some terrible movies. Right. Just like every actor. Over on Up at Noon, over on IGN, which you subscribe to, go to IGN.com every day. I host a show called Up at Noon. And I had Dennis Dyack on, right? And he was talking about Shadow of the Eternals. Of course, he made Eternal Darkness. He made Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes. And he was talking about, I've made good games. And then I talked about X-Men Destiny. And I talked to, not on camera, but we talked a little bit personally about Too Human. And he said, I've made some bad games. Show me a developer that hasn't made a bad game, right? And I'm not talking, you're gonna immediately flip around and be like, Naughty Dog. It's like, no, I mean, like, the people on their staff, right? They've made games. They've been part of games that didn't pan out. It happens. I'm not quick to judge Ben Affleck now. Let's see what we got here. More comments. Okay, yeah, right here. Dr. Clyde Demerger, I can't read that. He says that they followed the Dark Knight Returns storyline. I don't hate this casting. Remember Dark Knight Returns, of course, an older Batman. He's much older. Superman, Ronald Reagan, all that stuff. Basically, Batman has to come out of retirement to try to set everything straight. And that kind of Batman could be well played by Mr. Affleck, I think, personally. I'm not... Theo says, bring out Portillo. Like, you knew Portillo wasn't in my life this whole time. Oh my god, I create you dog eyes. What do you think of Ben Affleck, Porter? Oh, you like Ben Affleck, don't you? Everyone likes Ben Affleck. I understand what's going on. Let's see what we got here now. The movie Rewind, I knew people would be immediately pissed. He's a fine actor. Is it an inspired casting choice? No, but I'm fine with it. That's interesting, right? That's a good point. I would have liked someone I didn't know. So, that's the thing with Christian Bale, right? Christian Bale had done American Psycho, and I knew him from that. And then when he got cast as Batman, it was like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, I didn't know enough about him. Like, whereas Ben Affleck, and maybe. This is the weird thing, right? When people watch videos from me or listen to podcasts from me, I always talk about the fact that if you listen to them or watch them, you're my friend, right? You know more about me than a lot of my family members do. I feel that I have that same fan relationship with somebody I've never met with Ben Affleck, I think. Thanks to being such a huge Kevin Smith fan. Like, I grew up being a Kevin Smith fan. And so, in doing that, I watched all the commentaries. Like, Mallrats is my second favorite movie of all time behind Ghostbusters. And watching the commentary on that disc makes you feel like you know Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes and Ben Affleck, right? Because they had a picture-in-picture. I'll never forget. This is like prove what DVDs were to me. Picture-in-picture and them joking around, being friends, and you're kind of in that relationship with them, right? You're listening to them, you're not responding to them, similar to podcasts nowadays. But I always thought Ben got such a bad rap. First, and while we're talking about Kevin Smith films, Jersey Girl is a good movie. I enjoyed Jersey Girl. I think Jersey Girl gets a bad rap. Of course, it came out in a Geely time frame and all that other stuff. Still, I liked what they were doing with it. I think that made sense. It was a good film. You know what I mean? It wasn't what people expected. So I found myself torn. Right? I like this Ben Affleck fella. I think he's a fine actor. I'm excited for this movie. Again, I had problems with Man of Steel, but I like Henry Cavill. I like the idea of, I'm hoping for Lex Luthor, obviously. Michael Rosenbaum should be cast. But Ben Affleck, it's an interesting choice. I understand people on Twitter stumbling around like they got punched in the face. Let's see what some people are on Twitter saying. There's been a lot of tweets going back and forth. People saying, I know Justin Davis, one of my friends, he doesn't know what's up. Sean Norton, he doesn't know what's up. People are still freaking out about everything. There's already a Ben Affleck at Affleck Batman account. It says, "Hi, I'm Batman." That's funny. Rich George, formerly of IGN, says Twitter is all sorts of fun right now. A lot of sarcasm. We're past the point right now where everybody's like, Mike Drucker tweets a conversation between Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder. Warner Brothers exact quote: "What if we cast Ben Affleck as Batman?" Zack Snyder quote: "And what if he uses a gun?" Warner Brothers exact. Perfect. Yeah, man. Yeah, jeez. Yeah, okay. Gary Whitta, nailing it. Love Gary Whitta. You should follow Gary Whitta at Gary Whitta. He says, "Guys, I just got off the phone with the president of show business. He asked me to tell you all to chill the fuck out." I think that's the main thing. I don't mind. I definitely didn't expect my Thursday night to be talking about Ben Affleck as Batman, but I didn't. I don't understand the hate. I guess and like the people who keep bringing up Daredevil. Lots of Daredevil tweets when this announcement went out. It's like, okay, we get it. Daredevil wasn't a great movie. I didn't. I thought it was not a great movie. I enjoyed myself fine. It wasn't a good movie. Ben Affleck didn't make that movie all by himself. A lot of people helped him on that journey. So let's not cast him on it. A lot of jokes about Matt Damon being Robin, of course. Yes. Nightwing 1994, Mark Hamill confirmed as Cockknocker. Of course, Cockknocker, a Blunt Man and Chronic villain who shows up in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, played by Mark Hamill. I think it's high time for a Batman with a Boston accent. I'm not wearing a hockey mask. Internet, calm down. There are many worse things in the world. Well, sure, there's worse things in the world, but it wouldn't be the internet if we didn't have fun and get crazy about nerdy stuff, right? I'm telling you, though, we got to give Ben Affleck a chance. That's what this is all. Yeah, well, that's what Edgar's saying. Edgar's saying, I think he's a little bit behind what I'm saying, but he's saying Henry Cavill was also an unknown, Greg. And that's what I'm saying. I love unknowns. I kind of wish there would have been an unknown here. But I get, I say all that, right? And when I watched Superman Returns, for better or worse, and Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor, I didn't get all like, I didn't get hung up on the fact that's the guy from American Beauty. That's the guy from, he was Lex Luthor. I think that's what people are forgetting. First off, Ben Affleck, charming smile and a good-looking man. You're telling me he's not going to make a good Bruce Wayne when Bruce Wayne's got to go out there and try to flirt with Lois Lane and do all this other stuff? He's going to look good. I think he's going to fill out the suit nice too. Christian Bale, he was a athletic dude, thin dude, but not like Affleck's buff. Go watch Hollywoodland if you haven't. I hope it's on Netflix. It probably isn't. Netflix interest, immediately is what I'm trying to say. Here we go. Finally somebody takes that point. Ismahawk says, "My God, that is such a bad idea. They had a chance to revitalize all of their franchises, and they go for an older Batman. Stupid." Robert Downey Jr. is in his 50s now, right? Like, and nobody has a problem with him as Tony Stark because he nails Tony Stark. If we're going to take this universe in a different way, and this is the problem with everybody who had a problem with Man of Steel for like spoilers, the killing, right? Like the fact that the people died and this happened. You can't have it both ways. They're the same people who were saying that Superman was boring, right? That he's invincible and nothing can hurt him and yada yada yada, and he's a Boy Scout and yada. So they go the different direction, try to make Superman real. Everybody's like, that's not what Superman would be. You can't have it both ways, right? So here's what I always talk about when I talk about comic book movies, and then the difference between a comic book fan and maybe just a fan at large, right? For comic book fans like myself, we have all these books over here, right? And in them, we can take it that if you grab The Dark Knight Returns, that doesn't mean that the current Batman doesn't exist anymore. DC does a really great job of putting out all these different animated movies that don't tie into each other. They're standalone movies. You pick one up, you watch it, you're like, okay, that was really cool. That was a cool story. I'm done. That's what I like about graphic novels, right? The ones that I think are really cool aren't the ones that are just ongoing. It's when you can take an ongoing story arc from an artist and, of course, a writer, bundle it in one book and give it to somebody and say, Long Halloween, this is great. Now, with Snyder, right, like Court of the Owls, this is great. Or Night of the Owls, or whatever it was. And they get that, they read that, they're done. They don't have, and Night of the Owls doesn't work for the scenario, but stick with me, right? that you can take the story, self-contained, read it, and be done. I don't like. Are we really that sad that if they're gonna cast Affleck, he's a bit older, and they're gonna make the universe a bit older and have no? Like, so what? Like, at tops, we're gonna get like what? Geez, 3 or 4 movies out of it. I don't think, from what we've seen so far, that DC's got it in them to do like the whole Avengers universe kind of thing. Obviously, Marvel had that stuff laid out way better than DC's laid this stuff out. I think you're looking at, you have Man of Steel, we have Batman, Superman, we're going to get a Justice League movie, and then what? Maybe a Batman, maybe a Superman, maybe another Justice League, and by then I think you have to start worrying about rebooting franchises and doing all these stuff. How many Avengers movies are we going to get, right? Keep in mind, too, that Downey's only signed on for a few more. You can go to IGN.com to read all about the official movie stuff. Remember, I'm just a fan. I'm no expert here about the movie stuff. I know about the comic stuff, and I know about my opinion on the matter. But Robert Downey Jr., he's not going to be around much longer. He's only got a few more movies in him, and then he's out. First off, because he's old. Second, because it'd be too expensive. Why do we care? It's going to be replaced, right? This is another thing, right? Like, people get Bond movies that way. They get the fact that, okay, Bond just keeps recycling over. There's a new Bond every time. It's no big deal, and the movies keep going. Hopefully we get that way where we have comic movies that can stand on their own, where you give me this comic book movie, there it is, that's what it was, great, and I can see another Batman movie in a few years and not be like, oh, I don't understand, didn't Bane throw him in a hole and have a really stupid thing on his face and just make a terrible, terrible Batman movie? Let's see what else is happening in the comments. Yeah, here's another thing. AK Flash 23. Let's be real. We would watch it even if Shuhei Yoshida, the president of Sony Worldwide Studios, was Batman. That's the other great point. Today on Twitter, right, this gets announced. A lot of people, well, I won't be seeing that movie. I won't be doing. Shut up. You're totally going to go see it. I have no interest in Thor 2, whatever, Dark Mirror, Dark Tower, Dark whatever the hell he's fighting. And I thought Thor 1 was alright, right? I'm still going to go see Thor eventually. I'm still going to get out and see Thor. Like, that's going to happen. Let's not be so quick to judge here and do all this stuff. Alexandro Cantastra says, I think it's a commercial choice, nothing else. I mean, I wouldn't. It might be that Warner Brothers, like, we want a big name to be Batman, but like, I don't know if it's like the biggest commercial choice in the world. Maybe though, who knows? Oh, okay. So I just called people out, right? I'm like, you're gonna go see this movie. Highball Comics says I will not see this opening weekend in a theater at all. Well, I'm glad, Highball Comics, you took the high road and said you won't see it opening weekend. Oh man, at least you'll go see it, the Tuesday afterwards. You're going to see it opening weekend. Because if it's good, right? Again, I want to make sure we're being clear here. I'm not saying Ben Affleck's awesome. I'm not saying Ben Affleck sucks. I'm not saying the movie's great, the movie sucks. I'm saying we don't know anything yet. Let's give them a little bit of rope here. Let's see what they can do with this thing. Let's not be these guys on the internet who are just like, no, I don't want that. Go a little bit down. Yeah, see, Andrew Koresh, I'm okay with this too. The Sal Pazunin, ask Colin. Colin's not here, he's in Germany. Matt Damon as Nightwing. If they bring Matt Damon in for Nightwing or Robin, then they are making Batman and Robin 2. And I don't think they're going to do that. More comments rolling in. Lots of stuff. Let's see what we got going on here. I mean, Booyah Radishes. Could Ben Affleck direct the Justice League if his Batman does good? Yeah, alright, okay. Sure. Why not? He could also get a cooking show if he starts learning how to cook too. See what's happening on Twitter. Remember, tweet me at Game Over Greg if you're part of the show. Yeah, see? Again, Jamie agrees with me. Ben Affleck has the job for Batman. Lol. I'm curious to see how he interprets the character. What? Raymond Gloam Gold. It's not that he's older. It's that he's just not that great. Why do we hate Ben Affleck? What? I mean, like, he's made bad movies, sure. Everyone's bait. George Clooney was in Batman and Robin. Period. Everybody's fine with him. We're not telling him he's terrible. He says, I love Affleck as a director, but he's not a great actor. I disagree, sir. I think Ben Affleck's good. In the Town. Argo. You can watch these movies. Maybe I'll rent Argo tonight. Sean Black says, time for an impromptu conversation with Colin. We're having it right now, Sean. You probably should be paying attention to links I put out. I'm going to tweet it again real quick. So talk amongst yourself. Of course, follow me on Twitter at GameOverGreggy. Then watch all the dumb shows we do. I do Up at Noon. You subscribe to Game Over Greggy on Twitter. Obviously, Up at Noon goes live every Monday. I post it there. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Conversation with Colin. Wednesdays and Fridays, Gregway, which is just shows like this that are actually good, though, not just about this. We're talking about this Ben Affleck slash Batman thing. Period. We're support. Don't you guys love watching me tweet on my iPad? Man, I tell you what, I know how to make interesting content on YouTube. So let's back down. Let's see if anybody's tweeted stuff. Oh my god, new follower. Oh, thank you, Dan. Dan says, I'm beyond proud that Game Over Gregway is being smart and rational about Affleck Batman casting instead of Cole McGrath as Bat. Ah, I get it, of course. I flipped out when they redesigned Cole for Infamous. That's true. I did do that. But that was like, and I guess that's the other thing, too. You know, I often talk about this, that I'm a huge Superman fan, right? I'm a huge DC Comics fan. Let's get to the frame. And I like Batman fine, but I'm not, like, super into Batman. So I get if Batman's your favorite thing, and you only know Ben Affleck from Phantoms, and like, or Geely or whatever, and you want to make a big deal about it. But I still say, as a comic book fan, as a DC fanboy, remember that. Remember that I am all about DC Comics. That is totally what my bag is. You look over here, they're all DC Comics except for, like, one, I think. I think I have Spider-Man Blue down there. But I kind of get it, right? I don't know. I don't actually anymore. We're very lucky. Do you remember, old people like me, when you'd pick up Wizard magazine and you'd open it up and there'd be like this spread about the Nicolas Cage Superman movie, and you're like, oh, we're finally gonna get a Superman movie, and you're reading it and you're like, this sounds awful. This sounds like the worst movie ever, but at least we're getting something, and then it didn't happen. Like, how many times I went cuckoo for Superman Returns because, hey, guess what? We finally have a Superman movie. I'm finally going to be able to drive myself, I guess, be cognizant driving as an adult with my girlfriend and go see a Superman movie. Yeah, it's exciting, right? Now we're spoiled little brats about everything. Iron Man hit, and I'll dial it way back from that, right? X-Men hits, and then we start getting all of these movies, comic book movies, as far as the eye can see. Occasionally, one of my sports playing dumb friends will be like, "Oh man, this comic book movie thing's gonna burn out." It's never gonna burn out. We finally made it. We finally made it where we can say, look at Wolverine movie, the Wolverine X-Men Origins is terrible. Big deal. Put out another movie. Call it Wolverine. We'll be excited for it. It doesn't matter. And that's what I'm saying today. Everybody's mad at Ben Affleck for some reason. But in the end, we'll be happy that we have this movie, and you're all going to go see it too. That legend says, there's honestly no reason to hate on him. He'd be a fine Batman. I think we should trust the caster. She casted Cavill, and Cavill is amazing as Superman. Yes. Henry Cavill, amazing as Superman. Again, don't care what you think about the Man of Steel, right? Like I've said for a while, right? I'm right in the middle. People love it, people hate it. They try to talk to me about it, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever you feel is fine. You believe whatever you want to feel. I understand that. I'm down. I want you to be happy and live your life. However, Henry was awesome as Superman. He was great Superman. He's got a great Superman voice. He's got a great Superman look. Filled out the suit nice. Ben Affleck's going to do the same thing. He's going to fill out the suit nice. Can we at least agree to that, ladies and gentlemen? That Ben Affleck is going to look dynamite in the Batman suit. And again, the cowl, that jaw, he's got a great jaw. Oh, I said jaw weird, but you know what I'm saying. Also, sorry if you're watching on YouTube, it's all stretched and squished. This is all spur of the moment. Jumped right in there, so you just suck it up. But you're here. We're in this live stream. We're bonding together. I'm still taking your comments off the YouTube page here. Kevin says DC Comics is okay too, with a winky emoticon. Kevin, DC Comics is fantastic, and you know it. I prefer it if you don't talk trash about DC Comics. I don't like that one too. Chris says, who's your favorite Batman, Greg? Like, to date? I mean, Kevin Conroy. Bam. Like, let's not forget how awesome the animated series was. How awesome he is in Batman Beyond. How awesome he is in the Batman games from Rocksteady. I mean, if you're talking about an actual actor, then I gotta go Christian Bale. Minus The Dark Knight Rises. I did not like Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry. I know Colin and I argue about this all the time. Eventually we'll have a conversation with Colin about it. Not just yet, though. But I mean, did not like Dark Knight Rises. But Bale's Batman was awesome, right? Especially his progression in Begins. I still love Dark Knight. Keaton, I guess, like, it's easier to say the Batmans I didn't like, right? Like, Keaton, I liked Keaton. But then looking back on it, being a DC Comics fan now who's grown up in the whole, Batman doesn't kill anybody, it's weird to see the Batmobile had guns and him, burn a guy to death. And you're like, can't really get over that. Now, of course, look at that. Never thought about that. Now I say I can't get over that. I mean that. That's like my knock against that Batman, that version of Batman, that interpretation of Batman. But of course, I was just giving you all crap, saying that if Superman was going to, that people had a problem with Man of Steel because of that they were, trying to have the best of both worlds. He's a Boy Scout. He's not a Boy Scout. They can't have it. They can't walk that line. I could be fine with that. And I guess that it's just like the gun thing, right? Is like at the core of Batman. So it was interesting to see the Tim Burton fans go past that and not worry about that. It's not that bad of a interpretation. I mean, like, the only Batman who didn't work right was George Clooney, and it was just because it was way too campy. And he says that too in all his interviews, right? He says like halfway through he started playing him gay. I mean, that's just how how he did it, and that's what he did. I think Val Kilmer gets a bad rap. I loved Batman Forever at the time. Haven't seen it. It's boiling acid. Remember that? That's the best part of Batman Forever, when they're in that safe. Oh, it's boiling acid. My thing, it's acid. Why does it need to be hot? I don't like if the acid's slowly creeping up towards me. The last thing I'm like, oh man, it's hot too. It's going to eat my foot and my face. I'm going to slowly die in this acid. And on top of everything, it's very hot. Not my concern. So I mean, like, yeah, I guess you look back, like, yeah, there's not really been bad Batman, as I'm sure. I'll check the comments here and see what you think. But of course, tweet me at GameOverGreggy. Leave your comments here in the little comment bar. It looks like it might be frozen. So I'm going to hop over here. Oh, Calvin Corey says, who do you think the villain will be once Affleck gets his own movie without Superman? I don't know, Joker probably, right? Like, that's the whole point. That's why you reboot the universe, so you can use the villains and, like, the classic things everybody loves. Chris McCracken says that it's got to be a fucking joke, right? And he's responding to the tweet I put out with the link to IGN's article about Ben Affleck being Batman. It is real. I hope you're here now watching this. Simon tweets, and this is at Saigon1. These people are way too quick to judge before knowing anything about the new Batman. Affleck will pour his heart into it. Yes, he will. Like, we gotta give Affleck a shot here, folks. He keeps getting parts for a reason. It's not. We might have a problem with some of his performances. Let's just give him a reason. Let's not be crazy, all right? Okay, Dane says here, don't get me wrong, Ben is a great actor, but I don't know if I see him as Bruce. I could be proven wrong, though. Hashtag Affleck, hashtag Bats. Hopefully you will be, right? Like, that's the big, I mean, hopefully for all of us, too. Again, I'm not on a Ben Affleck money hat here. All I'm saying today is we need to give him a shot. We need to not be quick to judge. We need to see what he's going to have up his sleeve here, right? Let's see what we got here. Thank you. Daniel says, I was meh about the whole Versus idea, but now Affleck is on board. I am totally down with the movie. Cannot wait. Well, there you go. That sounds like a good one, right? Like another rational person having a rational conversation. Irrational Passions, another podcast you should listen to. Augie Soto says, Greg Miller is taking me off the ledge right now. Haha. Yeah. See, that's the whole thing. We can't be too upset. We can't be quick to judge. There's a lot of people that need to grow into. Ooh, Jeremy W. says, I can see Johnny Depp as the Joker. Johnny Depp would be a cool Joker. And again, though, can we see past him? I guess when people looked at, now granted, no one went and saw The Lone Ranger. But when people looked at the trailer for The Lone Ranger, you got past that was Johnny Depp, right? I like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp would be cool, too. Yeah, and asked who would be the villain right, in a Affleck only Batman movie. Reboot Gaming 11 says Mr. Freeze, Clayface, Penguin, Killer Croc. There's plenty of options there. Chuck Norris, thank you for watching, Chuck. I'm a big fan. Chuck Norris says J-Lo is Harley. That's not a bad one too. Richard Giovanni wants the gray suit. Okay. Keep on looking through all this stuff. See what boiling acid. Oh, okay. I asked, why is it a big deal if it's on fire, if it's acid or boiling acid? And Lintonia HB says boiling acid. As you increase the temperature, the rate of reaction increases. All right. Noah says here, didn't Affleck say he was embarrassed about playing a superhero and said he would never want to play a superhero ever again? I believe he did. Let's see if I can dig out that article real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. But I do know I remember reading this on, of course, IGN.com. It's a dynamite website. We're looking it up. Well, now, of course, all the news about Ben Affleck is, in fact, about all this other crap that he did. First off, though, here's a great picture. I've been talking a lot about Ben Affleck as George Reeves. Right? Look how good he looked. Oh, sorry, it's all reversed. There's George Reeves there, Adventure of Superman. Tell me that. First off, that's a good-looking Superman, period. I wouldn't mind seeing him be Superman in a movie. Putting that out there. I don't care. If you want to hate on Ben Affleck right now, I'm not going to hate on him. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm still going to try to find this guy. I do remember this article, though. Ben Affleck. Done with superhero. I'm sorry that all of you are just getting to watch me tweet things. Here it is. Yeah, okay. 10 worst superhero movies, Rolling Stone, of the past 10 years. They had Daredevil on there. I'm going to iPadstarpulse.com. This doesn't look good. Okay. Ben Affleck swears off superhero roles to avoid wearing tight pants. This was posted 365 weeks ago, apparently. And it's one of those things where I can't. The article isn't even here. Like, their ad breaks it. Star Pulse. No. Not how you run an app. Okay. Well then, let's see what we got going on in the comments. Affleck. That's funny. Brainstem says, that's funny. He spelled brain differently, but he means it brainstem. My concern is Zack Snyder. He's an abomination. He corrupts comic book movies with his shitty directing, awful writing, and effect on good actors, making them terrible. Shut the fuck up, Brain. Really? I liked Watchmen. I liked the Watchmen comic, and I liked the Watchmen movie. I know a lot of people hate it. I don't get it. I don't get the problem with it. Again, Man of Steel, not the best movie. Again, I was right in the middle. I was like, it's fine. I saw it the next day. I went to a screening, right, and I came to the E3 War Room the next day, and Rich Short's like, how was it? And I was like, it's fine. And he's like, oh, that's not good. If Greg Miller's saying it's fine, we got problems. I don't hate Zack Snyder. I never saw 300 to my credit, and then Sucker Punch, of course, looked like something I didn't care about because it looked dumb. And then I thought Watchmen was good, and then Man of Steel. I wasn't. It's like my problem with Man of Steel. I had no party. Wasn't like my legs asleep. Sorry, I gotta switch legs. Porto puts them to sleep. Oh, party, you're matched up with the other guy there. I still have a problem with in terms of, hey, you know what, this directing sucks or whatever. I don't know. It had a bunch of problems. It wasn't just Zack's fault. Now Trent Cope says, I'm down for it, but he better not pull the cancer throat Christian Bale voice. He's gonna have to. He's got to do a voice thing. That's a big part of Batman, right? That's what I loved. There's a great moment in pre-New 52 comics where Batman and Alfred are talking. It's a flashback, obviously. Actually, no, I don't think it is, obviously. It's all run together. But he goes, they've gotten in a tiff or whatever, and Alfred's going upstairs. He's like, Master Bruce, that Batman voice we had to practice when you first put on the cowl or whatever, you're doing it all the time now. And, I thought so great, right? That's the interesting thing they're going to have to toy with, right? Is an older Batman should be way different than the Christian Bale Batman, because and again, not Dark Knight Rises is older Batman, but a Batman who's been being Batman forever for a long time, it'll have to be different because, of course, eventually Batman's the real thing, right? Bruce Wayne's the mask. Batman is the real dude. Bruce Wayne died in the alley with his parents. Batman is the dude who went on and became crazy ass Batman. So, that's what it'll have to be, right? We'll have to see, Ben Affleck already he'll have to bring, a very stoic nature and a very, beat down view of the world. And that's always the interesting dichotomy, right, between Batman and Superman, that Batman thinks everything sucks. He doesn't see the good in anyone. Superman believes in everybody. Let's go back to Twitter here. Remember, tweet me at GameOverGreggy. Somebody's continuing their tweet, but it ends with Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern and Deadpool in the Wolverine movie. He ripped a second hole in those beloved heroes' asses. This is from Robe Joe. Let's see if I can see his first one. Okay. Robe here says, he cannot be both Batman and Daredevil. That would rip a hole in the space-time continuum. We saw it happen with Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern and Deadpool in the Wolverine. He ripped a second hole in those beloved heroes. Different universes. There's no rip in the space-time continuum. We're going to be okay. Not to mention, of course, Green Lantern sucked overall. And again, the Wolverine movie, not a good movie, but you can't blame Ryan Reynolds. He didn't write the part. He's not like, you know what we should do with Deadpool? Give him Cyclops eyes at the end of it and, cut his mouth up. He didn't say that. So let's not be crazy here. Let's see what else we got here now. Chris gives me a shout out for answering his question. No problem. Glad I could be here for you. Johnny says, girl or boy Robin in this movie? My vote is for Chloe Moretz if they pick a girl. There's not going to be a Robin in this movie. I'm pretty sure they already went on the record about that. Or maybe I'm thinking of the game. But even so, that's way too much to introduce at once. Let's not introduce a Robin right now. You can break off and have a Robin later, if you ask me. Seems like Twitter's calming down. The world is going back to normal. Christine's pouting. Christine, I'm just talking to my friends here. You don't have to. Oh, you need help getting the pot out. You want to come sit down and talk about Ben Affleck? Why not? You got it. That's the deal. I'll come get the pot out of the bottom. We're not gonna eat tonight. I'm trying to leave you with. Oh, she got it. All right, don't worry. I'm gonna get out of here soon. We're making chicken tenders the Colin Moriarty way. So like the chicken cutlets. Here we go. Pie makes me lol. Okay, he says, my biggest issue with the film is the decision to base it off The Dark Knight. Since when was Frank Miller the authority on Batman? Did we all forget about All-Star Bats? Dude, since when is Frank Miller the authority on Batman? Since basically he rebooted everybody's vision of Batman with The Dark Knight Returns. Remember when Batman was running around in the blue and the gray still in the Justice League? And it was totally stupid, except for when he punched out Guy Gardner. Awesome. But that Batman, was caught in this in-between phase, right? Where he's, still alright, chum, and then he was also Batman. So then, when Frank Miller came around, it was, established Batman as being a badass. That's really when the trajectory changed. And he's like, okay, you know what? This Batman guy is going to be super dark. I mean, let's not forget, the Adam West show. That stuck around for a long, long time. And then it was Frank Miller, then it was Tim Burton, and all of a sudden everybody saw Batman as this really cool, edgy era, right? He got to be on the outside and not be everybody's Gotham's friend and all these other goofy-ass things. So, that's why. And nobody forgot about All-Star Bats. All-Star Bats from, I'm the goddamn Batman. That was good. That was fine. Don't worry. I like this fun. Speaking of which, what do we all feel about Batman Superman so far? The comic book. New 52. I think I'm an issue behind. I've only read 2. Enjoyed myself so far. Let's look at the comic. Now we got another one here. A cocky Irishman. He says Johnny Depp should play the Riddler in the Batman movie. I like Johnny Depp, so I don't mind Johnny Depp being involved somehow with this. We'll see. Brian Sanchez says, this some bat shit. Yep. Another person asking what happened to Colin. Thank you. Hold on. Again, Colin in Germany. He's gone. Noah says, I loved Watchmen and 300. Zack is cool. I liked Man of Steel. See, Zack Snyder's not the worst thing in the world, like some of these people are saying. Watchmen is, and this is Dave Michael. Watchmen is still my 3rd favorite comic book movie of all time, behind X2 and Dark Knight. Okay. Another person asked for Colin. God damn it, Colin's not here. Ben Affleck is too. This is from TR and Pie. Try and Pie. Ben Affleck is too tall to play Batman. He'd have 3 inches over Henry Cavill. Isn't Superman taller than Batman? They're made-up characters. They are drawings on the page. There's no hard and fast rule about anybody being taller than anybody. They're not Bert and Ernie. We have an established thing here. All right. I think Ben's coming from, the Batman that we've heard about in this movie. Older. He's already been Batman for a while. Him coming in, he needs to be the elder, right? He's gonna teach Superman some valuable lessons about how to be a hero in this movie, I bet. So let's all calm down. Also, shout out to Bobby Amos, of course, for nailing the fact that this was gonna be a Batman Superman movie. Ooh, Cyberlink 420 says, hypothetical question, Greg. Who would you cast as a live-action Terry McGinnis? Of course, Terry McGinnis, the young man who goes on to be Batman, Batman Beyond. Ooh, again, I want somebody I don't know. I think the Lawrence brothers are all too old now. See, I look at that. Think about the Sean from Boy Meets World. He would have been a good Terry McGinnis. I don't know any of the young kids anymore. How about that Teen Wolf kid that likes me in IGN? Him. Cast him. A Reboot Gaming 11 here. He says Human Torch could be Captain America. So good point. See, everybody wants to freak out about Ryan Reynolds doing dual roles and ruining it, quote unquote. There you go. We all know Chris Evans, Dynamite as Captain America, and he was in Fantastic Four movies, and nobody really cared. Right? Fantastic Four movies not good. Then he goes on to Captain America and the Avengers, and he's great in that, and nobody's like, I can't see him past that. See, everybody's just hung up on this stuff. Everybody's calming down. I'm glad. That's what this whole support group is about, ladies and gentlemen. It was to make sure you knew that the sky wasn't falling in the DC universe. That everything was going to be okay. There's a lot of news still to come out. Okay. AJ Jonowaski says people who think Affleck is soft need to go see Affleck right now. Like, okay, but it's hard to find Ben Affleck to look at him. But I do believe he is buff right now. So I'm not too worried about that. Okay. Luis Santos says, only issue I have with the new movie is that they might push Batman more than Supes, even though this is his sequel. Well, spoiler alert, yeah, Batman's going to get he's going to get pushed a lot in this movie. Because Batman's super popular. Do Google trend search right now. Batman is more popular than Superman. Batman is the most popular superhero on YouTube. That's been proven. So yeah, bringing in a new character, they're going to need to bring you up to speed on Batman. They're going to show a lot of Batman, a lot of Bruce Wayne. But I don't think that's a bad thing. We saw a lot of Superman this time around. At least Clark Kent. And that was, again, I like the fact that Clark in the movie is still Superman. I never liked the Kill Bill. Clark Kent's the mask. Superman, the alien, is the real person. When you say that, that's when you lose me. When you talk about Clark Kent being a down-home American farm boy, and that's what, Superman eventually is too. I'm with you. All American. Cocky Irishman responds, Jesus is Batman. Type Pant Sad says, can we get a Beyond? Beyond. Yeah. I think we covered it. So I'm going to sign off here in a second. But yes, remember, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Affleck, he's a good guy. We liked a lot of the things he's done, right? Let's not be quick to throw him under the bus here. Is he going to do the voice? Who knows? I don't care. But Ben Affleck's good as a person, as an actor. Yes, he's made some bad films. But if you hate Ben Affleck, your job is to watch Hollywoodland, Argo, The Town. Go watch those movies. Oh, and then Mallrats, of course. But everybody loves Mallrats. I'm not really concerned at selling you on Mallrats. You should. If you're watching this video, you've already watched Mallrats and loved it. So, Internet, calm the fuck down. Beyond.